Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I'm Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about the Deuce, Season 2, Episode 8. It's called Nobody Has to Get Hurt. So, full spoilers for the episode, as always. So we left last episode off with the shooting, with someone taking a shot at Vincent specifically, and we opened this one kind of with the fallout of that, of them going to one of the other mob bosses, one who was financing the film specifically. We've seen him before,
yeah,
and they sort of take him, they sit him in a chair, and they sort of the threat is very very implied here, of course, and lucky for him, Vincent believes that he doesn't know anything and believes that they're scared the shit out of him. And Rudy's very blunt about it. He's like, he just saved your life. If he wasn't here, you'd be dead.
Pretty much.
And he's he's basically pissing himself. But that's like kind of the one real thing that comes from this, outside of him, talking to the other mob boss guy, who he ends up kind of working with for Laurie's career in our movie deal. So we still don't know who took the shots. It's still left. Or why, yeah. So that's still kind of open. So maybe we'll get there. I don't necessarily know if I believe both the mob bosses. I mean,
yeah,
that's still a possibility. But so certainly it's kind of still up in the air. And Vince is still kind of, he's still feeling weird. And he's trying to like connect with Abby by reading books and into philosophy. And I hate that when she made that Kant joke, I got it, because I've watched The Good Place, and he's brought up all the goddamn time.
Right, okay.
Because Chidi on that show is a philosopher, and he's trying to teach the others how to be good, and he always brings up Kant. So, when she said that, I'm like, I really get that reference. But only because of The Good Place. So, it's amusing. But he goes to his father, and he wants some advice, and his father's like, sure, your eyes might have wandered, but you should have stayed with your wife and kids, because, I was with plenty of ladies, but I always came back, because your mother was your mother, and I was never going to leave that. And he's like, so you said I messed up, and he's like, it's never too late to fix things. So I don't know if we're going down a path of him actually going to maybe reconcile with his wife, because his wife did cheat on him back at the start of the show. That was how it kind of all crumbled.
It's kind of weird, because he's like, me and Abby, we want different things. So what do you want? I was like, well, I want a family, wife and kids. And he's like, you've already got that, you dick.
He's got a point. Like, I can't deny there's a point there to be made. That maybe he didn't want that 5 years ago when season 1 was, but now it's like, I've kind of grown into wanting that now. I want that life, and not focus on work all the time the way I did. But so obviously that's kind of been his arc for the season, is him realizing what he wants, and that this isn't what he wants anymore. That he maybe prioritized the wrong thing, or not so much the wrong thing, but he completely gave up one side of his life to completely just focus on the other. Instead of actually balancing them in any way at all. Like, there was no balance whatsoever. It was just, no, I'm just going to ignore that and go all in on this.
It didn't end so well. In the sense that he's clearly not that happy right now.
Yeah. He was maybe happy for a while, but now he's he's at this point now where he kind of wants a quieter life, and it's not quite as on the table as he would hope. So, but of course, one of the things that I think it was even last episode, I was speculating that I could see Cece not making it to season 3. I never did say, though, that it would have been Bobby in the parlor with a screwdriver, but
I'm gonna get my one criticism out of the way here.
Okay.
This is the second time this season and I think it might have been last week or the week before, that they've gone on slightly too long at the end before cueing in the bass.
You thought it should have been after Frankie's line?
Yeah. Black Frankie comes in and is like, oh, you all murdered the shit out of that MFer. And then it cuts to them looking just kind of shocked at like what they've done.
Yeah.
And then it goes on for like another minute, a few little lines. I'm like, no, that was the moment.
All right, okay, fair enough. His line made me crack up because it's such a tense scene. Like, as soon as CC walks in there, in fact, all episode, because
you're like, okay, what's he going to do?
Because just to rewind to the back start of this plot with Cece, it actually starts with Rudy and the other mob boss, because he's like, hey, do you want in this film? And of course I'm like, but Rudy's already paid for part of this film. He's like, I'm already in on this. He's like, no, I'm not talking about the movie, I'm talking about Laurie, the star. We're trying to tie her down to a picture deal. And then we see a scene with them, with the agent, and talking about it. And she like brings up to them hey, like her man's going to be a problem, and I'm like, are we going to have Rudy and the mob like taking care of Cece?
Yeah,
And
and they want to.
yeah, they even imply that, and she's like, no, do it clean, just pay him off, you can afford it. And you're like, all right, okay, we'll do it. And we actually have a scene where they go to Cece, and they say, no, we're buying her out, and we're not negotiating this. You don't get to like drive the price up. It's 15,000, and that's it. That's what you're paying, or that's what we're paying. And Cece, as much as Cece likes to act big, he knows he's not got a chance here if he acts the way he does. He's not acting happy about it, but he knows he can't do anything here.
Begrudgingly accepts.
Yes, he's not happy, and I think in that scene I got very worried because this is potentially the most dangerous Cece has ever been, because he's been put in this position. He's been told that she's been taken away from him and he has no power. This is.
And that's it for the rest of the episode. Every conversation with Laurie is terrifying.
Yeah, obviously what happens to her is awful. He is it's such an uncomfortable watch when he's like, no, we're going to go to a motel like the old days and I'm going to have sex with you. It's going to be like you've never been F before. And it's a really uncomfortable scene, and very forceful. And
it is. But I was concerned he was going to like slash her face or something.
Yes,
like,
in the middle.
Well, yeah, go and act now.
Yeah, or at the end after he was done. And he just kind of, he belittles her and just gives her $40, which is the price it used to be. 30 for the sex and 10 for the room. That was the thing. And I was still worried that he was going to do something to her. And even when she's leaving in the airport and she's looking around over her shoulder, like it's like, yeah, she's worried as well. She
knows that this is not easy.
And obviously not one to go out without a fight. He's insisting, okay, I have no claim to anything she does now, but I'm still owed a percentage of her previous work. And I'm not even sure that's true. I don't know if we ever actually had a scene of him negotiating for back end on one of her movies, or Red Hot specifically.
I don't know if we did, but they don't seem to be arguing with him on that point.
They don't, but I don't know if he actually speaks to anyone who would know to argue with him. Because I mean, is Frankie someone who would be?
He's a producer, technically.
Technically, but he's not. Like, he really know?
But maybe not. But he doesn't fight him on that. He's like, look, you'll get paid when we've got it, right?
I wonder if he just knows how dangerous CC is and he doesn't want to fight him. He's just he's trying to play nice.
It's worth just giving him the money.
Yeah.
Or promising him that, okay, you'll get your cut.
Yeah, because CC wants a front. He wants 10 grand right there and there.
He wants an advance. I'm shocked that CC knows what an advance is, to be quite honest.
Well, it's about him getting paid, so of course he knows what it it's like if it fits into what his world is.
I'm surprised he knows the terminology.
Yeah, I mean, I think he knows that, because
I want it now.
That's used in other things. That's used in like every industry. That
no, it
even
is.
in advance is.
No, it is. But CC in particular has always been very just blunt and with the not been in much industry talk. He's always of any kind.
Compare it to the scene where Candy's talking to the editor about what she wants, or notes. Like they're dropping industry terms left and right, and I know what they all meant, but I'm like, man, people watching this might just be like, oh, this is all fancy movie words. They don't necessarily take in what this. Because at one point he says you want the clean close up or the dirty close up, and I knew what that meant. But I'm just thinking, people think, dirty, is that because it's porn? And what's dirty about it? And I'm like, no, it just means is the other actor's shoulder in the frame kind of thing. And as she says, her justification for wanting the dirty close-up is that, no, you want it to feel like he's in her space, so therefore he's in our close-up. It's simple stuff, but it's effective. Anyway, so I'm really worried, and he's looking for Frankie, and he goes to Vincent, and Vincent's just kind of like, I don't know where he is, and he goes to the parlor eventually, and of course he's not allowed in the parlors. Bobby immediately points this out.
House rules. Yeah,
we've not seen Bobby all episode, and he comes into the parlor and he's like, "Hey, take the girls somewhere for lunch. I don't want." I like
that. When he says, no pimps allowed. So he says like, "Hey, come on, you're just a pimp as well."
Yeah.
It's been a long time coming for someone to call him out on that.
That's kind of what he is, yeah. But they go into the back room, and Bobby insists on being there, kind of almost as if to back up Frankie, thinking that Cece's here to cause trouble in some capacity. And he sits there and says, "Oh yeah, I want my money. Frankie's like, "Oh, we don't have it." He's like, "Oh, this is a parlor. You're rolling in dough here. Get it for me." And then Bobby, of course, can't keep his mouth shut. Intervenes. Not that he's necessarily in the wrong to do so here, but he's Bobby. It feels true to his character that he starts speaking up. And Cece says, "Oh, you know how many girls you're sleeping with here at the parlor? Does your wife know?" And that obviously strikes a chord because it's true. That's the thing.
Yeah.
He's accurate. And then he starts talking about his wife. He's like, "I've seen your wife at the hi hat," and starts talking about her breasts, what you do to her. And that's when Bobby lashes out and stabs him. And I think what's effective with this is that obviously part of it is, of course, that he's threatening to be how Cece is with other people to his wife, right? That's a threat in and of itself. That would make anyone act out. But then on top of that, I think the fact that what you just said before that was completely true. It's the idea that it almost ties into the conversation that Vincent had with his father in a weird way. Is that no, that's my wife. You're questioning my loyalty to her, and even though to most people on the planet, the fact that he's sleeping around is disloyal in and of itself. There is this weird moral compass to it.
There's a key difference between Bobby and Vince in that Bobby didn't abandon his wife entirely. Right,
yeah.
He's been absent, and he maybe not been that great of husband and father, but
shitty husband and father. He has been shitty. That's not.
He's been there in some capacity.
Yeah, but I think the guilt over, like I think it's almost like he's going over the top to defend her because of the guilt of what he's actually done to her. I think that's part of the motivation. It's not the only motivation, but I think it's what turns it up to 11.
Yeah, obviously. The screwdriver doesn't kill him outright. He drags him. They have a bit of a scuffle. The hallway.
Because I was thinking, wait, is it? Because I was thinking that's because I'd remembered predicting that he might go. I mean, I never thought it was going to happen like this, but I thought, is this him dying, or is he going to get out of this? Is this just going to be a wound? And then seconds later, as soon as I thought that, Frankie with a hammer behind him.
Well, this is it. This is what I was going to ask. Bobby starts calling for Frankie.
Yeah.
Do you think he was calling for Frankie? Hey, you're in there. Come and help me. Or was he calling out the front to Black Frankie to be like, hey, you're security, get in here?
I was thinking Frankie, who was right there.
Okay.
Because it didn't feel that loud to me the way he was saying it. But again, he had his hand up against his throat. So, I mean, it's hard to tell. Maybe he just didn't care. It's like any Frankie.
Either of them.
Yeah, it's just someone.
What if you do something?
And I thought Frankie was just going to pull him back because you sort of see him coming up behind him. But then he just starts whacking him in the back of the head. And you don't see what it is at first. It's not until he falls that you see it was a hammer. And you're like, shit, he's dead.
Yeah.
Cece's a goner. And then, of course, Black Frankie comes in and drops the one-liner that breaks the tension. But I'm like, damn, Cece's gone. And obviously we're going to have to deal with covering this up. And I'm sure Rudy and Co are going to want to help with this. In fact, Rudy's probably like, that piece of shit tried to extort money from everyone after we'd paid them off. Like, the disrespect. But
Rudy won't care.
Obviously, there's the fallout of this, but I it's fascinating, and I think it is a fitting end. And I think, but the fact that we contemplated this was a possibility for where this was going, and I mean, obviously, we didn't necessarily think it was going to be Bobby. Like that's something we could never have predicted that it was Bobby.
Yeah.
But I think again, adding to the other thing is the idea that he called him a pimp like him, and the idea that Bobby sees himself as being something better than that. So the idea that then he tries to drag him into the same, level is again a further insult that I think hurts him. It hurts his pride. There's a lot of things going on there. So like I say, I think the core thing is still just blatantly the threatening conversation about his wife. But then you add in all these other factors as to why that'll really stir him more than maybe it normally would. I think adds to it. So very effective final scene, and I'm glad that there is a 9th episode this year, because if this was the final moment, I'd be like, damn it, a whole year after this? You kidding me?
Yeah, that'd be kind of shit.
Yeah,
especially if we do another time jump.
Especially, but no, we're going to have to deal with this directly. And see where it goes. So as much as CC will be missed from the show next year because he adds so much to it, it does make a lot of sense. If Laurie's story is going to continue in some capacity, she may be gone now for us, but she may be in LA now. We don't even see that much of her in a season 3.
Which I'm okay with, because I think it was last week I was saying I was concerned about her going off to LA being kind of just a retread of the plot, that we've been having this season.
Yeah, I mean that moment where she says he's not here, he's out of your life forever, and she walks out of the airport. I mean that could be her final moment, and it'd work.
It would, yeah.
That works as that if that's what we're doing with it. I mean, I still expect to see her at least once. Just she'll be back in New York for something, but not necessarily for the same reasons that Ashley came back. Just as a.
No, I think it's more like she'll come back. She's tied to the mob, right, with the funding. And I think there'll be something there that she'll have to come back for those reasons, maybe.
Yeah, maybe
something to do with them.
Yeah, maybe. And when I talk about market in the poster, actually, the mob guy's asking Candy, "Oh, she's a B cup. We're going to make her a D cup in the poster. Just big boob sell." And we even hear Candy's response. It just lingers on her reaction to that for a second before it cuts away. And she, of course, is also trying to tell her son that the film's not suitable. And he's like, "Well, if it's rated R, I can go if you come with me." He's like, "No." And so the thing is, Candy says maybe you can see it one day, and I'm like, "Wait, you're in this movie. No son wants to see a movie where his mother's in like this."
No. I think she's just saying that so he'll stop asking.
I know, but think about it, really. Like, if your mother was a porn star, would you ever want to see any of those? You wouldn't.
Well, no. But she's not actually thinking, "Oh, he'll watch it one day." She's going, "Oh, you can watch it one day. Now shut up."
Yes. I get it, but it's just, I'm like, no, don't. Make it clear. Make it clear. Because if he sneaks into it somehow when it's in theaters,
he's definitely going to.
Yeah, which he's definitely going to, and be traumatized that he sees what he sees. Stop it. Make that impossible right now. Damn it.
I don't think he's even going to need to sneak into it. I think he's going to see a poster. And he'll be like, "Okay, I get what it is."
He'll get what type of film it is. I guess I see what you mean. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I could see it. Meanwhile, Larry still acting. He's fixing lines, arguing with some dialogue that he's not particularly keen with.
He's not happy with it, no.
No, but in the racist side, which I like that he points out. Like, no, just write the dialogue properly, and if it feels natural for me to say it a certain way, I'll do it. But you're intentionally altering every word to what you think I should be saying, and I'm like, okay, he's got a point. Let him do it naturally. It makes a lot more sense. But the big scene with him, I think, is that his ex girl, if you even phrase it that way, shows up at the diner, having been in prison, and he never visited her, and she kind of makes him give all of his money over, and like him and Darlene are sitting there all fine, and and again, they've been feeling very different this season in the sense that it feels less pimp and prostitute. I mean, sometimes you're reminded that it is, but a lot of it does feel very coupley.
It does feel a lot less compared to any of the other pimps.
Yeah. But it's almost like this ugly part of his past. It's like just when he was starting to forget that he was a pimp, something reminds him, and it's very tense when she walks in, and it's very tense the whole interaction with her. And it's interesting because it's almost like even Darlene, because Darlene at one point rolls her eyes actually. It's when he says something like, "Oh, not a day went by that I didn't think of you." I think it's that line. It cuts to Darlene, she's kind of rolling her eyes like, "Yeah, bullshit."
Yeah. It's like you haven't mentioned her in 5 years.
Yes, we've been doing nothing because I mentioned she had a relationship with Melissa, way back in season 1, which we remembered because that was like a running subplot for that whole season, and it's really interesting, and I'm curious to see where we go with this. Like, does he make a choice? Because it's worth noting as well that Larry does not go to the pimp meeting that the others have.
No, he doesn't.
At one point, the other pimps call a meeting to discuss the activists.
Council of Pimps.
Yes, the Council of Pimps. And Rodney's useless. In fact, him and Shay are just getting high, and he's very unsubtly casing pharmacies for potential robberies because he wants more drugs.
Rodney cracks me up.
He's an amusing character, a very sad character, but he's an amusing character.
Yeah.
And so Larry's not there, which is very worth noting. And something bad could happen to Ashley now. I'm kind of, obviously it won't be Cece, but certainly.
No, but they're all aware of who she is, and she's the one causing the trouble.
And it's actually Cece who kind of tells him not to do anything, not because he's trying to protect her. And I'd never really believed that he would have tried to do that, but because he points out that no, she's not a prostitute anymore. She's a civilian. If she turns up dead, all of our lives are going to be made miserable because the police are going to be sniffing around.
Yeah. One of their girls turns up dead. They deal with it. It's an internal matter.
Yeah.
But they know that they've got a certain relationship with the police, right? They're allowed to they can get away with some stuff, but not this.
Yeah, I don't even think it's not so much that they'd get away with killing a prostitute. It's just more so that the resources and the time that would be given to deal with it would not be there. It'd be kind of like, well, no one's losing sleep over this one not being solved, kind of thing. Which is not the right attitude to have, obviously, but it's the way it seems to be. And So now that Cece's dead, what happens now? Did they honor what he said? Did they? Because it was not even so much that he was given a ruling. Although it kind of felt like it in a way, but it was more that he was just speaking sense. He was actually being smart in the scene and said, "Here's why we shouldn't do that."
Yeah, it's just not going to end well.
Yes, I sense tragedy.
Me too.
In this finale. Well, this is the thing. This was technically a tragic ending, but let's be honest, we don't feel sympathy for Cece. I don't think we ever were going to, because he's been such a vile human being throughout the entire show.
To be fair, they didn't try to make us feel sympathy.
Oh, they didn't. No, they absolutely didn't. But
which means we're still due the tragedy. This was just a shock.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Other subplots that we should mention: Vincent has a fling with a rich woman, older rich woman, in fact. And then he's cast aside, and
Frankie, wasn't it?
Sorry, Frankie. Yeah, Frankie. You're right. I was just a slip of the tongue. I wasn't.
I was just trying to remember, because obviously I'm like.
I wasn't misremembering the characters. I just said the wrong name. But yeah, so Frankie has a fling with the older rich woman, and it's kind of stumped when she says, "Oh yeah, you've got this rough attitude to finances, and you just sort of go book you in, dodge some, he doesn't go into it, but that's kind of what he's saying. He's like, he doesn't have a regular job, he just kind of like goes with the flow."
Yeah.
And she points out that, well, what about when you're old, when you've no pension and whatnot? And he's just kind of like, me old? Oh, I've never really thought about getting to an old age.
He was expecting to get shot long before that.
Yeah, which kind of sums up Frankie in a nutshell, really.
It does, yeah.
But yeah, so I think that's worth mentioning. For that maybe goes in. He split up with his wife, which we kind of saw that happening. They just never actually gave us the bow that said that they're split up now.
Yeah.
But we got that hilarious scene where he fired her. So that was all we needed, really. Yeah. So we had that. Goldman is he's got a plan for Alston. Alston's kind of feeling a bit down about Flanagan's death. And how the city kind of, like, because he seems to imply that he was a good cop once, and the city kind of slowly deteriorated him.
I have no reason not to believe him.
Yeah, Alston's someone I'll take his word on it.
Yeah.
But he's worried that that'll happen to him, that he will be slowly demoralized. And it's almost like it opens him up to the idea that maybe they can change something in some way. And he listens to Goldman in a way that he hasn't before. It's like, okay, so what's the plan? It's like, oh yeah, we get them out of the buildings based on all these, just not bullshit, but like all these just health violations, just all things that aren't to do, things that aren't to do directly with the sex work, and then we put legitimate businesses, raise the value of the real estate, and that's how you kind of clean it up, because then other people are here and so on and so on. And he listens to him, but we also see Goldman is again kind of living two lives, and it kind of ties into again the Vincent conversation with his father and the Bobby stuff. And he has no interest in leaving his family because he has sex with this guy, and the guy's like, "Oh, I couldn't live two lives, and you don't have to do that anymore. It's okay to be gay now." And he's like, "No, this is me as well. I'm a family man." Which I was almost expecting him to say, "No, I'm not gay. I'm bisexual." I was almost expecting a correction there.
I was, yeah.
Yeah, but even without the sexuality side of it, he's like, "No, I'm also a husband and a father, and that's not different because I happen to be gay and like men. Like that's something that is still a part of me and who I am." Again, it's unfair to his wife. I mean, unless she knows, but I doubt it. The guilt was there when he was sneaking into bed.
It was
last episode or two, but so there's still a negative side to it. But again, it's this sticking with the other ideas of infidelity and like. How that ties into marriage and who you should stay with.
It's the idea of whether or not they stick around and support the family.
Yeah. So no, and it's not even so much that this moral code that's being presented in this episode about that is actually something that I think most people would even agree with. It's just the idea that this is what in this time and this group of people, this is how they see the world.
Yeah.
And what they believe is the right thing to do. Most people, I think, yes, cheating your spouse is.
It's probably not a good thing.
No, it's bullshit. Yes, most people think it's bullshit. Some people have open relationships, and if they're both for it, and to be fair,
that's
Abby,
different. Then that's not really cheating, is it?
And Abby and Vincent have kind of had that arrangement, although it seems like it had kind of drifted away for a while, and they'd kind of forgotten about it, and then it felt kind of the jealousy kind of came when they started doing it again. It kind of that was kind of the feeling this season. So, but no. Other scenes to mention: Darlene and the guy at our night school. Kind of still hitting
trying
off.
To hook her up with a legitimate job.
Yeah, she wants a job. She's never had a resume. And he's like, I can put her on for you. My sister or whoever's got a fashion shop. Maybe she could use some help. And she's all, and it's kind of a sweet scene. They feel like they have chemistry, and he's like, "Yeah, you're asking me to be patient. I can be patient." And he kind of walks off, and it's again.
There was no advancement on the pregnancy stuff this episode, was there?
Well, she went to the clinic last episode, and
yeah, but there was no reference to it as well.
No, I don't know if there necessarily will be. I don't know if there has to be.
No, okay. I just I'm still kind of expecting Larry to find out.
Okay, I can see them maybe getting into an argument and her bringing that up as as a point to whatever point she's trying to make. She'll be like, no, I actually was pregnant with your kid at some point, and
yeah, it's possible.
Yeah, I can see that being a thing. But yeah,
I kind of just want to see Larry's reaction to finding out.
I want to see Larry's reaction just about anything, to be honest.
Yeah, me too.
I hope it takes a time jump far enough in the 80s that New Coke's a thing. I want to see Larry's reaction to New Coke, and then Coke 2 coming back.
That's something that I don't think I mentioned the other day, but as we always praise the show for just looking authentic, right?
Oh, sure, yeah.
But it's very little that you see actual brands with logos that have changed or anything like that. And it was like 2 episodes ago, I think it was maybe when Vince took his drive, and you saw just a can of Coke from the time, and I was like, oh yeah, we don't see that very often, and it stuck out to me.
No, they don't overdo it. Like if every so often, if it need be, they'll have one. But yeah, it's not something they've overdone, because it's usually a very easy way to date it, right? Is you have the old logos, you have the old Doritos bag, and you have the old.
Right, but they've done so little of it that just seeing this one can for like 3 seconds was like, whoa, that's weird.
Actually, I want to point out, often, the show is very expertly crafted, but one of the things we don't necessarily often praise specifically, because it's not very showy, is the cinematography. It's very understated in a smart way. But I do want to say that the opening scene when they had the mob boss in the chair and all that, the lighting, it looked quite good.
It did, yeah.
It looked quite good. And the dialogue's always on form.
It's always a very competent direction in the sense that it's not showy, like you say, but so much of this show is dialogue.
Yeah.
And it does a great job of capturing that.
It's there to service the dialogue. It's not the dialogue's not there to service the insane filmmaking style that whoever was thinking it up thought up.
Yeah.
Which is good. No. Cannot complain. I just wanted to go back to that scene where Cece's being confronted with Rudy and Tommy, and just Tommy just eyeing him up, just waiting for it to go down. It was just
he just wants to just drop him, doesn't he?
And I'm like, man, it's just because these characters have never interacted in the show before. So as soon as Cece was brought up to Rudy and Tommy, it was like, oh, damn, this cross section of characters might get bloody, and it kind of did in a way, but not directly in the scene. It was later, and as a result of it. But
yeah,
still, that was really exciting as soon as that happened. So I think that's a good sign of character writing and progression. That we're at a point now where we've got all these, we've got like 30 characters, and we're so used to a lot of them that we can be excited over the idea of 2 of them meeting that don't typically interact, and we can just go, holy shit.
Yeah.
And I just remembered another little subplot that we didn't talk about. There's a lot of little ones in this. There's 2 big 3 focus ones, but then there's a couple of little things. Paul and his actor friend.
Oh yeah, okay.
Just a couple of scenes, just a couple of quick things. It was basically just a debate about how his actor friend feels like because he started doing sort of gay stuff on screen, he feels like he's just boxed into always doing that.
He's typecast, is what he's saying.
And then he's like, yeah, but you're free because all the actors who hide the fact that they're gay or have to hide that and they can't be free. You are free. And so it's this debate about whether or not it was right or wrong, and the sad truth is I think Paul's right, but it's a shame that it's affected his career, because the actor's probably right that it has negatively impacted his career in this sense, and yeah. So, but it's an interesting couple of scenes.
We had a scene with the activist with Ashley and Abby.
Oh yeah, where they basically tell Ashley to back off because she's
kind of overdoing it. She's getting really aggressive in trying to save all the individuals. Obviously, what it's come down to is she's too close to it, right?
Yeah, that's what it feels like.
because it's all well and good say, we're obviously kind of on her side in the sense that, yeah, okay, she's helping some people, right? And she has definitely helped some people.
Because even that one prostitute that has been helping her kind of like tells her to back down a bit in this episode.
Yeah. And then it kind of gets to the point where he's like, hey, no, you're actually harming it in the long term. Yeah, you might help a couple of people here or there, but it's not going to change the systems, which is what he's trying to do.
Yeah.
And I think he's
walks
kind of
out.
right.
Yeah, he quits and walks out, yeah. And even Abby like tries to, get her to understand. And she kind of listens a little bit. I'll kill it a bit, but so definitely also
she's
bubbling.
too close to it because obviously this obviously she went through it. She knows.
Yeah.
But she can't comprehend the other way might work.
Yeah. So no, we'll see. And I feel like that'll be something that happens in the time jump actually, is there'll be some changes, or we'll be right in the brink of the change after the time jump.
Yeah, it could be.
The idea that it did take time, but we are going to be there when the time jump happens for the next season. So, is there anything else we missed? Because there's so many goddamn characters, but I think that's everything.
I don't remember anything else.
That has been episode 8 of the Deuce season 2. I'll be back next week with the season finale, so look forward to that. Let us know what you thought of this one in the comments, like, subscribe, all that stuff. Get us on the Twitters at mailed_fuzz. But of course, go over to patreon.com/mailfuzztv if you want to have a look at what bonus you could get, if you want to support the channel and the show and everything we do here. We greatly appreciate it. But otherwise, that is us. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV, guys. Have you got any vanilla?